I have two groups of people. I have doves and I have hawks.
Yeah, you have some serious hawks.
I have some hawks. Yeah, John Bolton is absolutely a hawk. It's up to him. He'd take on the whole world at one time, okay?
I mean, presidents aren't typically that straightforward and honest. He's a liar. Well, okay. He was certainly honest there. Jim Antle is an editor at the American Conservative. He is the editor, actually. He just published a great piece calling the president's decision on Thursday, quote, "The night Donald Trump became president." Jim Antle joins us tonight. Jim, great to see you tonight.
So, good to see you, Tucker.
Here you have a president pulling back from war and is attacked basically by everybody, both sides. What is going on?
Well, the incentive structure in Washington is entirely biased in favor of war. So when President Trump bombed Syria without congressional authorization twice, we had pundits saying that that was the night Donald Trump became president, that this showed he's a real commander-in-chief. And all of these people who otherwise would say that Trump is this reckless and out-of-control chief executive are doing nothing to constrain him, nothing to restrain him, nothing to enforce Congress's constitutional prerogatives, and that includes a lot of the Democrats. So you have people on the Never Trump right and in the Democratic Party who say that Trump is unfit to command, he's unfit to be president, yet they want him to oversee a major war in a country larger than Iraq. They're disappointed that he didn't commence the attacks, and they seem to think that there's no inconsistency to that without even there being a permanent Secretary of Defense confirmed by the Senate. Totally bizarre to me.
So maybe they feel that way because they understand that the war would be prosecuted and, in fact, is being pushed by people who have nothing to do with Trump, who, in fact, hate Trump and his vision, and that this would, in fact, be a triumph of permanent Washington over the voters.
It would be a triumph of permanent Washington. I mean, the polling shows that when the voters actually understand what is at stake and that we'd be risking a full-scale war, that they don't want this. That, yes, they don't want a nuclear Iran, but they prefer diplomacy to war. And we've seen over the last decade and a half war after war after war where the things that we set out to do to keep America safer from Islamists were not accomplished, where we've seen Islamist forces become more powerful than they were before, and where we've seen results even in cases like where we did have a militarily necessary response to 9/11 in Afghanistan. But from Afghanistan all the way through Yemen, we've seen results that I don't think very many Americans are pleased with. And so for Washington to be baying for a repeat in Iran while criticizing the president is totally incongruous to me.
Very quickly, Jim, will you confirm something for me? Isn't it
Sure.
the same people who are pushing us to war in the Middle East who are also telling us we have to accept the populations of the country in the Middle East coming to our country? How does that work?
It's a very strange concept where we can't enforce our own borders, but we can redraw the borders of every country in the Middle East, that we can create democracies in the Middle East, and we're sort of invading and inviting the world here at the same time. So it's definitely a little bit of a head-scratcher, but it does make sense to people in Washington.
It's almost like they're trying to destroy our country. It's funny. Jim Antle, great to see you.
Good to see you.